If you live in Chicago or any blue city for that matter, get ready because Donald Trump just declared war on Chicago, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Earlier today on Truth Social, Donald Trump posted another AI image of himself saying, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War," referencing the Department of Defense, which he changed the name now. I mean, this is a declaration of war against the city of Chicago. Like, that's what he's saying, right? He's posting an AI image of himself with military helicopters flying in Chicago. He's calling it the Shipocalypse now, which it really just doesn't get more cheesy than that. And he's also saying that he's going to use the government agency, which is tasked with defending the United States in times of war, against an American city. He's further deploying the military against American cities. I hope that regardless of the political side you find yourself on, we can all agree that using the Department of Defense against American cities is wrong. You'd hope that we can agree on that, but I imagine that MAGA is going to find some way to defend this.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is telling the residents of Chicago that they're about to experience what the Department of War feels like. Yes, I'm serious. This is a real post from Donald Trump's Truth Social. He posted a meme saying, "Shipocalypse now. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." And then this is Donald Trump with military helicopters flying into Chicago. Now, Donald Trump posts a lot of memes, but this comes as the Trump administration is preparing to deploy the United States military into Chicago against American citizens, and as ICE is preparing a massive immigration enforcement campaign in Chicago. And one day after Trump renamed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, he's turning the Department of War against American citizens, or at least threatening to do that. Spread the word so more people know. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack shortly, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for more to come soon.
And this is why we don't have time to waste on content creators that aren't even from Chicago coming here to disseminate misinformation to the general public. We have our very own president posting from the White House, the official White House Insta account, with images like this. Okay, so right now we need to be focusing on those content creators that are disseminating information that will help our community members, our most vulnerable community members right now. I went to Chicago's Mexican Independence Day parade today in Pilsen, and they were giving out these cards. This is the type of information we need to be giving out to people, right? It's a constitutional rights card that can be used by people when they're approached by ICE. And it has several different things that they can say to them, right? I wish to exercise my right to remain silent. I want to speak with an attorney before answering any of your questions. I do not give you permission to enter my private property. If you have a warrant, please slide it under the door or hold it up to a window so I can see it. I will not sign or hand over any documents. I will not give you permission to search my person, property, or belongings. Pause to take a screenshot of the card, and I'm also going to put the card up here in Spanish. Pause and screenshot that as well, and try to get this out to as many people as possible. This information was being handed out by IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org. And if you didn't notice, there is a phone number on the back on the Spanish side of this card. So if you, a family member, a friend, an acquaintance needs help during these times, you can call for assistance. Please, if you see content creators sharing legitimate information, video coverage of what is happening here in Chicago, if they're sharing resources, tag me and I will repost it. We're all in this together, and we will all get through this together by helping one another, by sharing resources.
Okay, so Chicago, good news, bad news. Good news is nothing terrible happened last night. Yay. I even stayed up just like waiting for sirens for information for anything. On the flip side, yes, it's still happening. All I know, and please keep in mind that there's not a ton of people involved in this whole Chicago deployment, meaning there's even less willing to pass down information. And by the time some of us get information, it's so delayed that facts have changed, obviously, like last night, or information just simply isn't available. All I can do is pass along what I know. That's all I can do. I don't have a crystal ball. I am not the commander-in-chief. I do not have control over this situation. I wish I did, because it just wouldn't be happening otherwise. As far as the win, yes, it's still happening. All I know, all I've been told, all the person that told me was told was that there was a few pieces of red tape left, and as soon as that was cleared, it's game on. I'm not saying, just to clarify, I'm not saying you need to have money to pack up and leave the state or the country. I'm just saying maybe pack an overnight bag, get outside the city limits, and drive to a field and go sleep in your car for a few days if you have to, or stay with a friend whose door isn't going to be knocked on. Stay with them. You know, there was that one thing a long time ago with that guy, and there were people who could not just pack up and leave, and they stayed. Some fought, and some just hid very, very well. However, this is not just a few cities that are going to be cleaned up. This goes so much deeper. And I wish I could help you better understand how deep this really, truly goes. And this is not just the next few days or next couple weeks or next couple months. This is going to develop. If you don't see it, let me help you understand this real quick. We are being hyper-normalized. So when we're told it's going to be devastating over the weekend, and then it's not, we're just happy to have the relief. So by the time something bad does happen, we're just like, whew, well, at least it wasn't what I was thinking. And the sale of this is absolutely to right-wing Trump supporters. It's clean it up, drain the swamp. That's the sales pitch. If you understood how deep this is going, if you understood the why, like the true why, not that it's going to do a damn thing for you or me, excuse me. If you understood the why, it would help you have more clarity. It would probably help you mentally, emotionally, and financially prepare a little bit better. I cannot talk today. I want you to truly understand what this is turning into. I want you to understand that I tried telling you about this about exactly a year ago. I said this was going to happen, and I was called dramatic, and I was overreacting, and I was overreaching, and I was nuts, and whatever else people said. Look, you don't want to believe me? Don't believe me. Do what you want to do. I'm telling you, this is developing. I told you this was going to start last year. It's now starting. I don't know what else to do for you. But I do want you to understand the psychology of it. Happy fucking Saturday.
Well, by now you all have seen the tweet posted by this man that looks like he was put together blindfolded with parts left over from a zombie apocalypse. Okay? The man's prefrontal cortex has been compromised by VD. Okay? Nobody is listening to him. He has declared war on the third largest city in America. He is cosplaying as a soldier. That man ain't seen a lick of action in his life. All right? He is a horrible drag queen. He dressed up as a businessman and failed. He dressed up as a husband and failed. He dressed up as a father and failed miserably. And now he has been dressed up as the president of the United States, and he's doing a horrible job. Okay? Nobody wants him there. Nobody has asked for him there. All right? And I will continue to blame you heathens that went out here and decided I'm not voting, and the ones that did actually vote for him, I need you to come stand over here. This is where we will put all the stupid people so that we can usher you out of this country. All right? All right.
So Donald Trump is taking his band of terroristic people and taking them to Chicago to terrorize American citizens in that city. Anybody that is an American, whether you're MAGA or whether you're a liberal or you're an independent, should be up in arms to have this federal invasion
military invasion with his Department of War coming to American cities. It's absolutely ridiculous.
All right, my fellow Illinoisans, especially in Chicago, President Donald Trump just posted on his social media that he is ready to go to war with Chicago. That pretty much he loves the smell of deportations in the morning. And then it said Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And he was sitting on some stump with air helicopters flying in the background like animated. What is wrong with this man? Pritzker says he is not backing down, that he's ready to take this to courts and has papers and stuff ready to go in front of the courts. However, President Donald Trump is calling his bluff, and he is sending military and ICE into the city of Chicago. To put on there that he loves the smell of deportations in the morning, what a disgusting way to describe that. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Bye.
Is anyone else, like, genuinely scared right now of what it means to be an American citizen and just, like, living in America? Like, our president just declared war on Chicago. Like, and I hate when people are like, don't take him seriously, because Trump usually does actually mean what he says, and this time he has a whole group of people behind him, like, willingly going along with practically everything that he has done so far. So, like, we do have to take this seriously and what comes out of his mouth very seriously. But, like, why does it have to be like this? Like, why are we being punished? I don't live in Chicago. I do live in a major city that Trump is very likely to target, and at this point, I'm just expecting it and preparing for that to happen. But, why do us in cities and states that didn't vote for him, like, why do we have to be punished? Like, I didn't ask for any of this. And, like, part of me knew when he won that things like this might happen. And yeah, I could leave the country and people are preparing to leave the country, but what about everyone that I love? What about my family here? Like, why does this need to happen? And our political elites and congressmen are doing nothing about it. We barely have an opposition party as it is. Like, is anyone else just waking up every day, like, in horror of what's going on? And then we have to pretend that everything's okay and go to work and school. Like, are we all just not walking around horrified, or are we just normalizing it?
We have major breaking news. So after a disastrous jobs report yesterday, Donald Trump decided it would be a great idea this morning to openly declare a conflict with a local U.S. city, specifically Chicago. Take a look at this Truth Social post. It's absolutely deranged. He's saying, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the new Department of Defense has now been renamed to this. Besides the fact of us inching ever closer to full-on authoritarian rule, this post highlights exactly what I have been saying over the past several weeks. That is that the Trump administration is not sending the National Guard and the military into these cities to conduct law enforcement activities because of crime. Crime is down across the country, and nobody is making up numbers despite what you might hear in Republican media. The fact is Donald Trump is sending them into these cities because he views them as sanctuary cities. He's thinking that by sending the National Guard, he can pressure these local municipalities to rescind their sanctuary city policies. You know, this is not the first time that Donald Trump has used this kind of tactic. He's also used, by the way, lawsuits as a way to try to get what he wants. But you see, I remember a time when Republicans hated when the federal government violated state sovereignty, when they went against the governor's wishes. They hated that. But now they love it. They love that the Trump administration is consolidating power to the executive branch. They have now become no longer small government Republicans. They are now big government Republicans.
Am I the only one who's barely finding out that Donald Trump tweeted some crazy shit? Like, this man is out of control. I cannot believe he posted this. Let me insert the clip of what he posted. Hold on. Okay, look, here's his post. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And look at the picture of him. my God. That is insane that the President of the United States is posting something like that. That is just beyond disrespectful. Moral of the story is, I know there's a lot of ICE agents here in Chicago, and it's just really sad. So stay alert, check in on your family, and Chicago is not going to go down without a fight. That's all I know.
So the President of the United States has openly declared war on an American city. Listen, I'm from Chicago. I've never lived anywhere but Chicago. Now, MAGA loves to point the fingers at everybody else and say, sheep, 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 but they fucking will believe anything that Trump tells them, no matter what it is. They will only believe what he tells them to believe, despite it being contradictory to facts, to research, to science. Chicago is not even in the top 15 most violent cities by crime rate in the United States of America, let alone the world. And here you have Trump telling people it's the most dangerous city in the world. Mind you, the crime rate in Chicago, and you can look this up yourself, has been decreasing every year since 2021. And what happened in 2021? Donald Trump left office after his first term. Now, we can just disregard the fact that this is a desperate ploy from Trump to avoid releasing the Epstein files because, he touched teenagers. But Chicago is just this convenient punching bag for conservative talking points of, it's such a dangerous city. There's violence everywhere. There's crime every day. Chicago's such a scary place. It's a war zone. Bitch, there is crime in every city, every day. But MAGA seems to be holding on to this delusional fantasy of an endgame where there's a society without crime, which, unfortunate as it is, it's not realistic. It's delusional. Like, crime happens. People commit crimes. You guys fucking voted for a felon, somebody who was convicted of sexual assault in office. You voted for a criminal. And if you support what he's doing, if you can watch from the sidelines and applaud this and cheer on as the president threatens violence against American citizens, you're a traitor. You're the opposite of a patriot. You don't deserve to call yourself an American.